Hello, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to talk about why we are giving you homework. These are questions we get a lot from folks, and we're going to explain several different practices that we give and why we're giving them. The general point is that we want you to be empowered
and have a direct experience of your own transformation.
And that direct experience is crucial, because when you have a direct experience of the divine, then you know that for sure, we could call these miracles, different things, but you have no doubt. It's for your benefit of healing and faith that these things happen. So we're telling you to do these practices because we want you to have an experience of your own truth and of your own connection to the divine, which empowers you to continue to move forward spiritually.
And the deepest integrated wisdom comes through direct experience. And one of the basic foundations of this that I would say is very normal if you haven't had a lifetime of direct guidance to your own healing process. If you haven't had direct experiences where that's being supported, you might think, I'm not capable of that. It's never happened to me, and I feel a little skeptical and a little bit unsure if that's true or not. All you have to do is say, that's a kind of funny concept that I think that won't happen when it happens to numerous people, and anybody that's on the path has access to it because it's our true nature. Nature is not something that you have to believe or not believe in. Nature is nature. So just maybe even be skeptical about your doubt, to give yourself a little boost. It is helpful. You don't have to believe that these things are possible, but drop the block to thinking you can't have guidance that allows you to transform and grow, because there's immense loving guidance, and we keep telling people the precise way to get that clarity and guidance. In the other video that you can look for, what was it called? How to talk to God and get a response. So we're going to kind of play into direct practices and homework assignments right now, so people aren't confused about them. But just allow yourself to surrender the notion that you can't have experiences just because you haven't yet. Try to just say specifically to your mind, these are completely available to me because the divine loves me, and the divine lives within me, and the divine will help me.
So at the end of your session, obviously we've talked about what we were seeing. As a general concept here, we're going to say we saw something going on related to probably some childhood trauma.
This is what the divine light directs us. We only listen. We have no opinion about it. So that information is key, because when we do the energetic healing on the chakras, you're not done yet. You have to fully integrate the surrendering of certain habits, and the homework we're giving you is for that purpose, so that you can unveil and move into a new landscape of perception of reality that's quite profound. And that's why we're giving you the homework, because it is freeing and opens doors.
So this when we, for example, when we say to do a mantra, or to do a meditation, or to do any number of different practices, we're often directing or guiding those specific practices to you so that you can change your energy away from a habit energy. And this, if you want to think about it in this way, it's rewiring your brain away from having a habit of
a false perception of what you aren't is a habit energy.
Yeah, to what you are, and aligning yourself with your true nature. And the reason we are often telling people to look at the child that was suffering, it's not because we want anyone to re-experience the trauma of their childhood. It's your child was traumatized. That child is living with the perception of that trauma. And what we're asking people to do when they do a mantra or do a meditation, and we're asking people to send that love to the child, it's so that you're traveling back in time, and you're reinforming that child that's suffering. And when the energy goes back and reintegrates that suffering into your present, you're reinforming now that perception to a healed perception. And so
I want to say can I share a little bit
go
of that?
ahead.
So I don't know if anybody's ever watched dog training videos. We like to watch the Dog Whisperer. And one of the things that they're doing is establishing that the human is the dog's pack leader. So if a dog has a lot of insecurity because they don't know that their human is the pack leader because you don't know how to train your dog properly, the dog's going to be anxious. So this is our animal part of the brain in childhood that was left unattended to by a pack leader. What we're doing when we tell you to go back to the child and give it a certain message is not so you dwell on the pain of what happened. It's because you have a little puppy that's completely untrained, that never had a pack leader. Pack leaders know what integrity, love, and confidence is.
And emotional regulation.
Exactly. Pack leaders have confidence. That child was never exposed to that. That child was just passed on what other people who were suffering from their unhealed inner child passed on to you. Those being, your lineage, your parents. Not because they're bad, but because they didn't know how to do it any better because their little animal brain is still active. So your child is stuck. And everything in your present day life is being informed by that until you look and sit with that child and reprogram the child and give it that emotional regulation. You're actually giving it love and confidence. You're not sitting there dwelling on horrific things that happen to the child. You're being the pack leader to that trauma mechanism, which is the animal part of the brain, which weakens and disempowers your life in the present day. And if you go back, it may sound a little weird, like, how do I connect with the child? The child was 30, 40 years ago. I don't understand how to do it. It doesn't matter at first if it's a little awkward. You will get there if you put in the effort. And it's not an immense amount of effort. Just try.
Yeah, we often tell you guys to do something for 40 days. Just make an effort for 40 days to try to continuously connect to these practices and send the energies to the child or other things that we've talked about in the session and give it 40 days and just be an experiment. Just be open and try it as an experiment, but commit to doing it. And we hear often that people are having breakthroughs at day 39.
And they're freeing themselves to be empowered people who are in their own personal inner sovereignty rather than a self-sabotage feedback loop. For instance, I worked with somebody, a very dear person, that was feeling really physically ill, and she didn't know what was going on. And I said, talk to your inner child every day and say, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm feeling like there's something trying to come to the surface and speak. And I want that child to know I lovingly accept whatever you have to share with me, and I will listen to it. Invite her every day. And she did that for a whole week, not expecting anything and not knowing why she was doing what that instruction was, but it was intuitively felt right. And at the end of the week, she got really, really dizzy. And she had a very good friend there who wrapped their arms around her, and she fell to the ground and all of a sudden started shouting, the children, the children. She didn't even know what she was saying, but she had given freedom to the inner child inside of her to remember that people in her family that she had witnessed suffering, that she was devastated at how much those family members had suffered, and that she had taken that energy of their suffering and it was living in her body. And when she fell to the ground and started shouting and crying, the children, she realized, I can't stop the suffering and I can't hold it inside of me, and I'm free of it now. And she exhaled all of that suffering, and it helped her develop immensely beautiful, loving boundaries moving forward in her life and stop sabotaging herself. So when you talk to a child, you're not going into the trauma, you're giving that child permission to be free.
And to speak its truth, to have a voice that it never had as a child that couldn't have a voice.
To be empowered, to be understood, to be loved. And it changes who you are in the present moment permanently. It's not repeated. The patterns are gone and you're free.
So some folks that we work with already do meditations, and that's great. We always say continue doing that meditation, and at the end of your meditation, do the metta mantra, do one of these mantras, or do one of the prayers of intention. Sometimes we work with you guys to do that. So you're constantly repeating your prayer of intention to release these energies that aren't serving you, and then to bring in the truth, which is to experience your divine nature. When we have so many stories about how this has worked.
We should share a few. We have
and I'll share one of mine. Recent
with the mantra.
So the mantras are specific with the words, and especially the Tibetan and the Sanskrit mantras, the yoga mantras. They have specific words and vibrations in those words that are programming your chakras and programming your energy field. So they're more than just singing a song.
They're not sentimental.
Yeah, and singing a song is fine. Some people need to learn some music and sing some songs, and that's great too, because we've had that's come through in sessions. But the mantras themselves are very specific about the energy that they're and the vibrations that they're hitting the certain chakras with. And when you do these mantras, stuff comes through. And for example, many years ago I was doing a specific mantra, specific prayers. And I had been watching this spiritual teacher, his name's Mooji, online. And one night I had a dream, and in the dream I went and met Mooji at the front of his ashram. And he said, okay, come with me. You got to go around to the back. So I followed Mooji around to the back of the ashram, and standing at the back of the ashram was Mooji's teacher's teacher. So Mooji was taught by Papaji. Papaji was taught by Ramana Maharishi. And I recognized Ramana Maharishi. He's very famous. And I threw myself down at his feet. And then he reached into my crown chakra all the way down to my third chakra. And there was an energy in my third chakra that was a stuck survival energy. It was
from the ancestry.
It was it was from my ancestors. It was a fear, and it was a survival mechanism that was stuck in my third chakra. And he reached down and he grabbed this energy and he pulled it all the way back out of the top of my head chakra. And then I woke up out of the dream, breathing, and this energy got released. And I saw it. And after I woke up, I looked down in my third chakra and I saw this energy disappear. And that's because I was doing these mantras, which allowed an opening for the divine to come in and help me through this dream.
So all the homework assignments, again, we'll reiterate this over and over, they all actually do things, and that's why we're giving them to you. They're scientifically completely how healing happens, and we're trying to give you the tools to be your own self-healer.
And when you get one of these messages through life or through a dream, or some people report like books falling into their hand, a specific book, or some event happens that allows them to gain access to something that's going on in their life that they didn't have an awareness before. You're constantly reading life, and life and the dreams are coming to you to help you progress spiritually. These things do happen, and they will start to happen, and they happen because of our devotion and our sincerity and our dedication to do, to follow through on the practices. So that's why we're telling you guys to give it a go, do your best, and commit to a period of time. Some people, I tell them to have a notebook by their bed, because I know they're going to get a dream about whatever it is they're working on. And, when it happens and it comes through, write it down, because it's going to be transformative, and it's something that's going to be really important to your journey. And we know this stuff happens all the time. It's part of our nature. It's why we do what we do. And it's empowering to your own story and journey.
When we receive the information about what the false perception is in your session, and you say, I need to integrate that and completely let that go, that's a process of healing. I need to give that, take refuge in the divine light that lives within me and talk directly to, in a feeling way, in a personal relationship, through these practices and through your intention setting. Talk to the divine light of infinite love that lives within you. And we always tell you, request the intention that you have seen this false perception and you are taking refuge in the divine to support you through that healing. And a lot of our clients are like, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. And we're like, do it for 40 days. And then at the last day, they're like, oh my God, I had a dream. So
it happens.
It works.
Yeah.
You know, and your sincerity and your feeling, allowing yourself to feel that there is this immense love that wants to help you, and just knowing and letting yourself know that this is the most loving energy that could possibly exist, more than your parents or any partner or any friend you've ever had. And not only that, it's far more intelligent than the most genius person on the planet. It is omniscient. It knows everything, and it knows what the next step is for you. It knows exactly what you need to see to integrate and heal. And if you show up, your job is to be honest and say, I see this perception that I lived by and how it's sabotaged my life. It was told to us in the session, and you know that it's true. Your only job is to say, I see that, and I need help.
And even if often we get folks who don't feel a deep sense of devotion, or they're even struggling with sincerity, and that's okay too. We always say, bring that to the divine. Say,
I have a deep lack of trust.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't feel that sincere. I don't feel that devoted. Please show me and help me grow my devotion. So you start where you're at.
A lot of
and you
people,
just be honest and transparent with the divine, that this is where I'm at, this is what I'm developing, I'm giving it to you. I want to feel more devotion. Show me how to feel more devotion. And if you stick with the practices, something will come in to help you feel more devotion. You will receive a miracle that gives you the sense of devotion, because everything we're talking about is helping you raise your vibration and raise the vibration of love in your own system, in your own spirit and own body, and that leads to transformation and changes internally and in the external world.
That's a really beautiful addition to this talk, because so many people come from also having faith wounds, or even if it's just their family, they never saw safety and trust, or they had a very dogmatic aspect being presented of faith, which is not what was supposed to be presented. The dogmatic side is confusion that humans put on it. But they feel like, I'm so fed up, and I honestly have no trust at all. And I want to feel connected and whole inside, and I don't know how to get there. And I'm hurting immensely with a lack of feeling connected, with a lack of trust. And I know that I feel that way, and I'm asking to be guided to the next step to move forward from that. That is so honest and so sincere. If you really feel that pain in your heart, you don't have to hide that and jump 10 steps further. That's in fact why a lot of people's paths get really stuck. They're working on things that aren't the first step. They're just working on some, thought leader intention that has nothing to do with them. You need to start in the present moment with where you are. And if you're feeling that pain and lack of faith and lack of trust, be present with that and give that and say, I don't even know who I'm giving this to. I don't feel a single thing. I feel so angry from the dogma and the hurt and the pain and the lack of, and the betrayal and the lack of trust. That's okay.
Yeah. If you feel betrayed by life, start there and start offering that.
Offer it.
Yeah. So just to summarize, these practices are an intention, and they're created so that we can connect directly with the divine light, the divine consciousness that knows all.
And discover our own power to heal.
And have a transformation experience. The divine light wants to give you an experience of healing, and so you're just making room for that experience by moving your energy away from the coping mechanisms, whether it's numbing or emotional outbursts, whatever it is, and you're moving that energy into these transformative practices, and you're committing to it so that you are opening up a conversation with the divine, and you're allowing the divine to come in and bring a message, bring a healing, bring a miracle
And work
to
on
you.
your behalf to come back home.
So all your part is in this is to do the practice and to focus on whatever it is that we talked about in the session, whether it be an imprint, something in your childhood, or even just the lack of faith. All you have to do is just focus. I have this going on. I want to give it to the divine. I'm going to do these practices, and I'm going to let the divine respond to my sincerity. Even if your sincerity is, I don't feel that sincere, it just give that to the divine, and then let the divine respond to you. And it happens like it's a scientific process. Be a scientist. Do your own exploration and do your own testing of all these things. Don't believe us. Just try it yourself
Direct
and
experience
see what happens.
is the real path.
Yeah.
Direct experience and just showing up.
Show up. Yeah. So thank you guys. I hope this is inspiring and helps you. And we'll be talking to you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.